Excuses are failure affirmations. Every time you tell yourself why you can't do something, you're also telling yourself that you can't do something. And that might help you feel better, but what it's not going to do is help you be better. And that's what's important. If you believe that you can't do something, then you are never going to be able to do it. Because what's most important in any sort of accomplishment that you would like to accomplish is the belief that it's possible to do so. That's what's going to help you do all of the hard work and push through all of the times when you really don't feel like it, and come up with ways to make sure that you get it done, is you believing that that work is going to pay off and that it will be for something when everything is said and done. But when you make excuses as to why you can't do it, you are slowly chipping away at your belief in your ability to do so. And that is eventually going to lead to you truly thinking that you cannot do it. And when you truly think that you cannot do something, you will be right, because you are going to go out of your way to find reasons, whatever it is that they may be, that it's not possible for you to get it done. And at the end of the day, you will always find exactly what it is that you seek. But it's true in the opposite direction as well. If you believe that you can get it done, then you will always find a way to do it, assuming that you are absolutely and truly committed and dedicated to making it work, unlike most people who just like to talk about it. But your excuses rob you of that. And at the end of the day, even if they're all true, even if they're all accurate, even if they are the most legitimate, valid things in the world, it doesn't matter. Maybe you are busier than most people. Maybe your childhood was more difficult than most people had. Maybe you have the worst genetics on the whole entire planet, and you have an eating disorder, and maybe depression is real and you're depressed. Who knows? But even if all of that's true, again, it means absolutely nothing. It doesn't matter about your eating disorder, because at the end of the day, if you want to lose weight, you have to eat less food. It doesn't matter how busy it is that you are, because at the end of the day, if you want to get in better shape, you have to find time to go to the gym. If you want to make more money, you have to find time to dedicate towards something that's going to make you more money. Whatever it is that you want to do, you need to find a way to make it happen. And all of the reasons that you tell yourself you can't does not change what it is that you need to do. The obstacles do not change the path. The way is the way. It is up to you to figure out how to navigate it, how to get there, and how to make it work. Because regardless of what it is that you believe, there is always someone who is or was in a much worse position than you, who is finding a way to make it happen. There are people who work 20-hour days who still find time to go to the gym and are in great shape because it's important to them. And rather than looking for some sort of excuse as to why they can't make it work, like that means something, they find a way to make it work. They find a way to get it done. There are people who had much worse childhoods than you who put all of that behind them and don't run around saying that they are or have no choice but to drink alcohol because of how they were raised or their parents or the things that they've experienced or seen or whatever other nonsense it is that people like. They want to change something about themselves. They want to change something about their life. So they find a way to make it happen. When you when you truly want to, you absolutely can. The universe will make these things work for you. It will give you exactly what it is that you show it that you want, if you show it that you are willing to work for it. And part of being willing to work for it is figuring out how to do that, not making an excuse as to why it is that you can't. But people have them everywhere, in every capacity. They blame every single thing that they can possibly think of, be it their skin tone or their gender or their height or even the area that they were born. But there is somebody much darker than them and much more differently gendered than them. I know it doesn't really make any sense, but you understand what it is that I'm saying. Much shorter than them, who are killing it in life. There are men on the internet who complain that women don't want to talk to them because they are under 6 feet tall. Meanwhile, Kevin Hart is like 5'2" and is one of the richest, I don't know if he's one of the richest people in the world, but he's very, very successful, and he has no problem, obviously, getting women. Same goes for Conor McGregor and other people who are under 6 feet tall. This is only a barrier if you make it one. But if you are an excuse maker, then you will find barriers everywhere that you look, because people who make excuses want to make excuses. They don't want results. They want reasons that they cannot get those results. And somewhere in the back of their mind, for some reason, I truly believe that what they think is if they come up with a good enough excuse, if they come up with the right combination of things to blame or scapegoats or anything along those lines, then they will somehow get what it is that they want without having to do the necessary work for it. Maybe they think God will take pity on them. Maybe they think the universe will feel bad for them. Maybe they think society will feel bad for them, because that seems to be what most people want, is for society to take pity on them and just hand them all sorts of things because they come up with a gigantic list of disadvantages and dedicate all of their time to tweeting about the things that they feel that they are owed and how it's everyone else's job to provide them with what it is that they want. All of that boils down to a belief in the power of making excuses, but it is all nonsense. Nobody has ever gotten anywhere by making the right combination of excuses. The people who are where it is that you want to be have the exact same excuses that you do. When I was when I was younger, when I first started working out, I was working at an armored car company. I was driving the armored car, and I would get up at 5 a.m. to be at work at 6 a.m. And I would work all day, sometimes till about 8 o'clock at night. And the place was a good 30, 40 minutes from where I lived. And I would drive that 40 minutes, 30 minutes after 8 o'clock and get all the way back to by my house so I can go to the gym. And that was about 9 o'clock. And I'll work out to 10, 10:30, take a shower and go back to sleep. I didn't sleep as much as I should have been sleeping, but it was important to me that I make it to the gym because that's what it is that I wanted to do. So I found the time to do it, because that is what you must do if you ever want to do anything. You're not going to find a way around that. None of it matters. If you want to make yourself feel better about not having what it is that you want, then I guess all of that is well and fine, and you can continue on making your excuses. But if you actually truly want these things, if you don't want your life to end with you never having been in the shape that you've always pictured yourself being in, or never being able to drive the cars that you've always wanted to drive, or live in the type of houses that you want to live in, or talk to the type of women that you want to talk about, if you're someone who sees stuff, whether it be on TV or maybe even in real life or online, and with the people in the mansions with the Rolls Royces and the abs and all of these other things that you might possibly want, and you think that that is something that you truly want to experience one day, the only way that you are ever going to do that is if you find a way to make it happen, instead of finding excuses as to why you can't do it and why you can't put in the work that's necessary. Because again, the work is the work. What's required is what's required. The path is the path. It's up to you to figure out a way to walk it. It doesn't matter if it's more difficult for you than it is for other people. It doesn't matter if it's easier for some people than it is for you. None of that is relevant. All that matters is that you get done what needs to be gotten done, that you get done what you need to get done. Some variant of that, you understand what it is that I'm saying. That's all that matters. And if you have to sacrifice sleep to do it, such is life. If you have to sacrifice some of your leisure time to do it, such is life. Maybe you have to sacrifice your entertainment, or going out with your friends, or spending some time with your family, or you have to put the money that you would normally spend on whatever nonsense it is that people spend money on towards bettering yourself and bettering your situation. And that's life. You see all of these people. There are so many people who sit online talking about how it's ridiculous to work over 40 hours a week, and that even that humans weren't made to work 40 hours a week, and they should be working far less than that. But those same people complain about what it is that they do not have. They complain about all of these people who have more money than them and live much better lives than them and have bigger houses and nicer cars and more free time and go on more vacations vacations and get to see more of the world than them. But what they don't realize, or at the very least what they refuse to accept, is that those people are working more than twice as long as them. The same people who have these complaints are the same people who will sit there and talk shit about the person who talks about working 80 or 100 some odd hours a week to get to where it is that you want to be. They make fun of the what is it they call it? Hustle culture, or what's the stupid word? Grind set and all of that nonsense. They laugh at it. They ridicule it. But they are not where it is that they want to be because they can't fathom the idea of working any more than they are currently working. And that is what it is that prevents them from getting to where it is that they would actually truly like to be. They're not willing to do more. They're not willing to give up anything that they have. They talk their work-life balance thing, even though they don't like the life and the work that they're balancing. They're balancing two things that they don't actually care about and want more, but are unwilling to change it. They are unwilling to sacrifice any of these things that they do. They're unwilling to sacrifice their downtime or their me time or whatever it is because it's detrimental to their mental health and all of that other nonsense. So they never get anywhere because what they love, what they are aligned with, what they are in allegiance to is the excuses that they make, because rather than prioritizing improving their situation, they prioritize feeling better about their situation because that's some sort of weird consolation prize to them. And honestly, there's probably nothing that can be done for those people. And if you are someone that has that mindset and you are not willing to change it, then you are going to continue living a life of mediocrity that you have no real interest in. But if you want better, then you have to figure out a way to get better. And you have to understand that it is going to take more than you think it's going to take. You're going to have to sacrifice shit that you don't want to sacrifice, which, by the way, is what a sacrifice is. For some reason, people have trouble grasping that concept, and they list the things that they're willing to sacrifice. If you're willing to sacrifice it, it's not a sacrifice. Sacrifice truly is the things that you don't want to give up. And that's what it is that you are going to have to give up. You are going to have to get uncomfortable. You are going to have to push yourself. You are going to have to do things that you don't like and not do things that you do like in order to get to where it is that you truly want to be. Such is life. That is the cost of it. And the cost of it, quite honestly, is supposed to be high. That's the only reason it's desirable to begin with. So, if you're going to keep telling yourself that you can't figure out how to do it or you can't possibly make it work, then that is always going to be true. Not because it's universally factually true, but because it's true in your mind. And that's what matters more than anything. If in your mind you convince yourself and you decide that you are going to make it work and you are going to do whatever it takes, regardless of whatever it might be, whether that's giving up all of the food you like or only sleeping for 4 hours a night for some period of time or anything else. If you put that in your mind, then you absolutely will find a way to make it happen because you are willing to do whatever it takes. And that is what it takes. No matter what it is that people say, there is not a single person in the history of the world ever who has done everything that it takes to succeed at anything and then not succeeded at that thing. If you do what's necessary to get something, you will get that thing. Period. But not if you keep making excuses.